Are you asking each one of us or introducing us to speak about why we ran?
Yep.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Tomas Hanna. I'm superintendent, the proud superintendent of the Coatesville Area School District, and welcome to Board 101. This is an opportunity for our board to share with you the work that they do on our board. You get to know them a little bit, why they did this work, why they do this work, because as you may know, we have a vacancy on our board. As a result of a resignation from former board member Brandon Rome, who we want to thank for his service, we have a vacancy in Region 1. And so we thought this evening it would be a really good opportunity for us to, the purpose of this gathering is to have a conversation about what the responsibilities are of a board member. And what I'd love to do is introduce, I also, there's one detail I want to share with you, is that it's important to know that as a result of this vacancy, we're going to speak to you about an interview process and things of this sort, but this will not be an election, right? And what we want you to understand, want this person to know who would take on this role is that this position will be, they would be in that position beginning February 9th, and they would be in that role through December of 2021. Unless they choose to run themselves, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But what I'd like to do now, if it's okay, is I'd like to introduce my four colleagues this evening. President Robert Fisher.
Good evening, Mr. Hanna, and good evening, community.
Miss Amelia Mills.
Good evening, Mr. Hanna, and to everybody in the Coatesville community, good evening.
Mr. James Bookman.
Good evening, Mr. Hanna, and to our Coatesville community.
And Mr. Finkbonner.
Good evening, Mr. Hanna, my colleagues, and the rest of the Coatesville Area School District community.
I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your schedules to do this. One of the things that you constantly hear us talk about is this is a volunteer role. And so, we'll talk more about that as well. So thank you for your time this evening on a Friday evening. And thanks to our public for tuning in. One of the things that folks should note is that while we're doing this live this evening, we're going to leave this up for 2 weeks through the application process so that interested parties can log into the program and take a look at it. What we'd like to do first is to get to know each of our board members. And I'd love to hear from each of you around we have 4 questions. Number 1, why did you run? Right? Why did you run for this role? Describe your experience as a board member. And one of my favorite questions is, what did you expect when you ran, and has your experience matched your expectation? And what's been the most rewarding part of your experience? And I'll just open it up.
Mr. Hanna, I'll be glad to start us off.
Thank you.
So to help a man with a short memory, let's go through them one at a time. And the first question was, why
did you run?
I would say in my personal experience, that would be twofold. One, I was very, very fortunate to have a long career in the Coatesville Area School District, almost 38 years. And by the time I'm done with the board, it'll be about 42 years of experience with the Coatesville School District. And during that experience, I was very fortunate to make many very positive relationships and hopefully to have had an influence on many young people. The last 10 years of my career, I was fortunate enough to have what I considered to be one of the best jobs around, and that was the principal of the Coatesville Area Senior High School. And being a principal, you get to touch all students, not just the ones that are scheduled for your class. So I thoroughly enjoyed helping young people, giving them advice and a lot of times telling them not to make the same mistakes that I made as a youngster, but nonetheless being able to help young people. When I retired, that was a huge void for me. Not having that daily interaction with students and the ability to be a positive influence. So that's the main reason I ran. I was not ready at that time to fully give up my association with the school district. So I thought the next best thing is, why not run for the school board and try to be, although it's not as direct, obviously, as it was in the classroom or in the principal's office, it was an opportunity for me to continue to help young people. And hopefully over the last 3 years, I've been able to do some of that. And the other reason is very simple, Mr. Hanna and community. I would say that there's an old adage: you can either admire the problem or be a part of the solution. So in my case, it's not my forte to admire problems, but I do like to be a part of the solution. So I would say that those are the two reasons why I ran for the board. Do we want to go around to the other three and then come
Sure,
back?
I think so. Yeah, absolutely.
Come back to the other questions?
That's correct. Absolutely. So Amelia, why did you run?
For several reasons. Primarily, it was because I'm a property owner. And we all know that school districts can impact positively or negatively on their communities. And I wanted to help. And why did I think I could be helpful? Well, I am an educator, and I've been for many years. And like Mr. Fisher, I worked for the school district, and I worked as an education consultant after I retired. And I wanted to bring that experience to the board of directors team. I also have 15 years in industry and in business, in supply chain management and distribution as an IT professional. So those of you that are interested in being on the board, we need a range of experience. I believe that my work as an educator and in business would be useful to the work that we do. So I'm hopeful that some that are listening have some exciting experience that they would like to share to our team.
Thank you, Mrs. Mills. Mr. Bookman, why'd you run? Well, you didn't run. You actually came in, but why are you here, Mr. Bookman?
I'm here because I am also a resident of the Coatesville Area School District. So I take a sense of pride in this school district. I started on this road of education in 2004 with the Chester County IU, working with children that was, with disabilities, emotional support, learning support. The reason I ran for this area is because I've seen so many kids from our community and surrounding districts and areas and communities that I've built relationships with. And I felt the need to basically step up and be a part of our community in our school district. I love Coatesville Area School District. And when I initially stepped up to do so, I didn't think there was going to be during a time like this, but it did. Here we are. But I can't ask for anything more than a better time than now, because this is a learning experience. So with that being said, I wanted to represent our district in the best way we can, being as a resident, and show our students and staff and community members that we do care. And we can do this together and make things happen for the beneficial bettering of our children in our school district for the things that we have been through. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to share with everyone.
Not at all. Thank you, Mr. Bookman. Mr. Finkbeiner, why'd you run?
All right, last but not least, so I have two sides of the coin. One's more serious, one's more of a rah-rah side, and I'll start with the rah-rah side. Growing up, I didn't really have ties to Coatesville Area School District. I went to Downingtown. I was a graduate of Downingtown. However, during my high school years, I did play quite a bit of basketball at Ash Park. I participated in the Rip City Basketball League. And seeing a community come together then, I didn't understand the value of that. When I moved to Coatesville about 6 years ago, and my wife was a teacher in this school district, I very quickly began to attend community events, school board meetings, and I understood what culture meant. I got a firsthand experience of what it means to be a part of a community that cares. That sparked my interest. Watching just about every board meeting and watching our school board conduct business and the trajectory of the district in my early years in this district since I moved, that's when the serious side started coming out. Much like Mr. Fisher, I'm trying to be very much so solution-based. We understand, we identify the problems, there's no need to harp on them, but what are we going to do to fix them? And like I know Amelia, because I usually sat next to her at board meetings, we heard a lot of the problems, but we didn't see solutions to those problems. We didn't see results. We didn't see a change of trajectory. And I wanted to be a part of that solution. I wanted to make a change and hopefully get an opportunity to be the voice of my constituents and be able to kind of step up to the plate and try my hand at doing everything I can to provide a quality education for the students in Coatesville Area School District and also advocate for the taxpayers. And the excitement of knowing that you have that opportunity is what really drove me down that road. I actually had a conversation with Mr. Fisher before I decided to run. And I said, hey, Mr. Fisher, I'm thinking about running. How do you give me some insight on what I can expect? And everything he told me was just, I'm ready for the challenge and I'm ready for the excitement that this job brings.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Finkbeiner. And so what I think I've heard is from our panel, be part of a solution, bring skills to the table that will make the district stronger, will make the district better. I heard stepping up is important, right? Make a stand, step up. And because you want to be part of a community that cares, but I heard again, solutions, right? And so, and Andy, thank you for Mr. Finkbeiner. Thank you for friending on, as we all know, at the end of the day, this is about improving the lives of young people through education. And so I thank you for that. And Mr. Fisher, I think you are the principal of the district right now, to be honest, and you're president, so that's okay. The second question, and I'll start with Mr. Finkbeiner, and I hope we can do like two questions in one. So describe your experience as a board member, and let's mold into it. What did you expect, and has your experience matched your expectation?
All right, good question. I'm going to make this a much quicker answer than my first. So my experience as a board member has been exhilarating. It has been enlightening, and it has been incredibly rewarding. And I've only been on the board for a year. What did I expect when I ran? I expected to come in and solve every problem in my first week. I thought after my first week, this board was going to walk around and give each other high fives, and the district, we were going to be on the right path and fix all of our problems very quickly overnight. I learned very quickly that's an unrealistic expectation, but it's not something that's not attainable. It requires hard work, it requires diligence, and it requires unity of the entire team. You can't be a board divided. Everyone has to understand what the path and the trajectory is of the young people, as you alluded to, Mr. Hanna, and how can we provide the best education, the best environment for our students and our staff, as well as our community. So has it met my expectations? It's far exceeded my expectations, to be quite frank. I've been a part of boards and a part of teams throughout my entire life in athletics and on other boards that I've served on. I have personally never served on a board with people that weren't more dedicated to fixing something and making things as best as we possibly could be. So I would say it's far exceeded my expectations. Have we solved every problem overnight? No. Are we working the best that we can to try and find solutions being innovative? Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Finkbeiner. Mr. Bookman, so what's your experience been and has it matched your expectation?
My experience on the board has been quite interesting. First, I would like to thank my colleagues for the support that anytime that I may have a question about anything, information that is being put out, they're right there at all times. This has been quite an experience during this time for me to see how things are done behind the scenes on paper and understanding how the budget is, the importance of making the right decisions during a time such as these. I'm still learning, and I appreciate everything that I am learning while being on this board. I will say this, I couldn't ask for a better board to be on than this. There's been transparency, there's been consistency, and there's been leadership. The experience that I'm experiencing on leadership has been phenomenal. Everybody's been collective. We agree to disagree and still stay the ability in the course of working together. I will say this, it has matched all expectation for me. And I really appreciate the support that I get, even from the community. And, it really fills my heart with joy when, kids come on, that we can reach out to explain how they're feeling and what they appreciate about whatever they're doing during this time. So I wanted to say thank you, Mr. Hanna, for stepping in the role that you have stepped up to be in during this time. So yeah, I wouldn't change it for anything.
Good.
Better times.
Thank you, Mr. Bookman. Mrs. Mills, Ms. Mills, what did you expect, and how's your experience matched your experience matched your expectation?
I say it in one word, it's rewarding. It's a lot of hard work, but we do it collectively and we share the load, but the rewards are remarkable. And like Mr. Fisher was retired, I will always be an educator in my heart, and being deep into all the pieces of education and running a district, I find exhilarating. Now, I have to say, did it meet my expectations? Well, as a former Coatesville School District employee and an interested community member, call me crazy, but I've been attending school board meetings for almost 20 years. So I was not surprised about what I was getting into. I was delighted, however, having 20 years of seeing different boards come and go, because they are 4-year slots. You see a lot of changeover, or some you wish would have changed over. So it was wonderful. There was no surprises other than COVID-19. I really wasn't banking on that one. That one kind of knocked me off my socks.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, it's been wonderful. Lots of hard work. It's great.
Good. Mr. Fisher, what did you expect when you ran, and has your experience matched your expectation?
Well, I almost have to ditto what Ms. Mills said. I had been being an administrator for the last 10 plus years of my career. I attended school board meetings on a regular basis. And I attended school board meetings, one, because I wanted to make sure that I knew what was going on in my district. And two, if there were questions about my school, I wanted to be there to answer them. So I had plenty of experience. So I wouldn't say that I wouldn't say that there was much of a learning curve, other than the nuances of how a board cooperates with one another, and understanding that you're just one vote of 9 and you're one member of a team of 10, which includes our superintendent. But just like Amelia, you know, I had the experience of attending many school board meetings. So, you know, I had a pretty good idea what I was getting into. And the other thing Amelia said that I would echo is it has more than met my expectations because it's rewarding. You know, like I said earlier, when you're helping people or you're helping families, and somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, I need help. Can you help me with this?" And you don't always have the right answer, but you at least try to get them an answer. And when you find that people have been helped, it's extremely rewarding.
Good. Thank you for that. So thank you for that, and I think it's important for our public to, you know, to have a sense of like what was in our minds of our board members prior to engaging, why they engaged, and you can all see for different reasons, but the collective is very, very important. So thank you for that. The first question we'd like to get into some questions that sort of set the stage for, you know, if you're thinking about being a board member, then what do you have to do first, and what comes next, and then when you're a board member, what does that look like? So so I'll ask Mr. Bookman, but please, all of you feel free to chime in. I'm seeing I'm like a whole lot with my hands. I got to stop that. Mr. Bookman, so before you become a board member, what do you need to do? I mean, I think our public would be interested. Like, what is it that you need to do before you become a board member?
Well, if you don't mind, if I can answer 2 of the questions.
Absolutely.
You know, first is find out your region. I am a representative board member of Region 2, which is Valley Township in the city of Coatesville. And the second part of it is what does it, you know, take to run it, and that would be reaching out to our government building for voters registration to get information. You can go to the website there and click on to voter services and scroll through and look for different information that could be there to help you along the way. Just to guide you in certain areas. And I think also you can maybe print out some forms if you're not able to go into the office, right at your fingertips. So thank you.
Thank you. And so what's interesting about this opportunity is that it is not going to be as a result of an election. And so if I could ask,
Yeah,
you know,
Mr. Hanna,
go right ahead, please.
I'll be glad to jump in, and I think it's important that anybody who may be interested in this particular position to understand that it is not an elected position. It is an appointed position by the school board, by the majority of the school board. So in this particular case, if you are interested in running, then you need to, first and foremost, follow some deadlines. And let me check my notes here. If you're interested in running, you need to submit your application form, a letter of interest, a financial statement form, and a resume. All of those, it's my understanding, Mr. Hanna, will appear on our district website.
That's correct.
All right. The deadline is Friday, January 29th at 5 p.m. That's the end of the workday on Friday, January 29th. The board is going to advertise and plans to have a special board meeting held on the 4th of February, where we will hold interviews for the candidates, then have some deliberation and make a decision on the best candidate to fill the vacant seat. And then it's my understanding, Mr. Hanna, that on the 9th of February, during our regular scheduled board meeting, the new board member will be sworn in by Judge Hines.
That's correct. And they will take their seat and be part of the board on the 9th.
Be a part of that meeting. They'll get thrown to the wolves right away.
Thank you for that, Mr. Fisher. I kind of
Can I
lost some
jump
of
into
those.
Okay.
something?
Sure, please,
So-
Ms. Mills.
So if you want to fill in, it's only till December. If you really believe you want to be with us for the long haul, then you need to also run in the primary this spring. So that's what James was talking about. So this position goes till December, and that's fine. But if you're in here and you want to do the long haul, you need to run in the primary in the spring. You can go to Voter Services, as James said, and it'll give you the timeline and the dates. Fundamentally, you have to have your ducks in a row February and March if we're going to run for 4-year term following this 1 year. What I did when I wanted to run, I did what every good American did. I went to Google and I Googled how to run for school board in Pennsylvania. And good golly, you'll get a document that tells you exactly how to run and all the steps to do if you're going to run for school board in Pennsylvania. So we don't want to belabor the whole thing about running in the primary, but just know, Google it, it'll come up, and that's there.
And if I may add, James added a good point, because, you know, really when you're in the thick of it like we are, you just assume that everybody understands and knows. I think it's important to know that our school district is, as it relates to the school board, is divided into 3 regions.
Right.
And each of those regions has 3 representatives, hence the reason for the 9 members on the school board. So Region 1 is Valley Township and Coatesville. Region 2 is West Brandywine and Cowan. And as you can see, they're divided geographically. And Region 3 is West Cowan, Salisbury, East Fallowfield, Modena, and South Coatesville. So, you know, the school district is divided equally geographically, and there are 3 representatives for each board or for each region, and those seats become available or expire after a 4-year term, and they're rotated so that not all seats are open at the same time.
Right, right.
So the one we're looking
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yep. So the one we're looking for now is Region 1,
Region 1,
James for Valley and the city of Coatesville.
correct.
Mr. President Fisher, if I could add real quick, sorry, Mr. Hanna.
Not at all.
I don't want to put my other board members on the spot, but if anyone has any questions or concerns relating to the process and choose not to reach out to Voter Services, I would be more than happy. All of our emails are on our website. You can always reach out to somebody in your region or somebody else in a different region if you want to ask, hey, what do I need to do next? We've all been through that process. I would be more than happy to help guide you in any direction that might help.
Thank you, Mr. Finkbeiner. Mr.
Good
Fisher?
point, Andy. Mr. Finkbeiner, remembering when you were interested in having a conversation with you at my kitchen table.
Yes.
So thank you for that. It's very, very important information. And in this case, we have an interview process, and interested in how, and I'll ask Ms. Mills if you can speak to us a little bit about how candidates prepare for this interview process.
Sure, be glad to. So we're looking forward to hearing from those of you in Region 1, Valley or the city, who are interested in the 9-month until December for that slot. As Mr. Fisher pointed out, there is a link on the website, and it talks about the opening. You click on it and it'll give you the procedures, and it'll click on an application form. You are to complete that application form and send it in to Lori Diffenfelder. Her email address is there. And then when we receive that in central office, they will send out to you an email that says it's received and give you these questions. They'll give you 3 questions that you're going to be asked to answer in a 5 to 7 minute public statement. And that's the one we're doing
February 4th.
February 4th.
Mhm.
So you have to send in your application to get the 3 questions. But just to get you started, I'm going to tell you what they are. 1, why do you want to serve on the school board? And what experience, talents, and expertise do you bring to the school board, our community, and our students? Second question. Based on your life, career, and other experiences, which school board committee can you best serve and why? And the last and third question that you'll be asked to speak on, if you had to run an election campaign, or did everybody freeze?
Yes, ma'am.
No, you got it, okay. Looks like a couple freezes.
Oh, you're okay. You're good. You're good.
Okay, it was so good you're all silent.
We're good.
Let me see here. I want to be sure that I'm in the right place. Yep, I'm good. And so thank you for that, Ms. Mills. Any other board members with thoughts around preparing for the interviews?
Mr. Hanna, if I may, there was a comment that Ms. Mills made that resonated with me. We are a board that is heavily flavored with ex-educators, and that's not a bad thing. But I don't want anybody who might be thinking about running saying, well, I need to know, I need an education background. I've had to worked in education to be a part of a board. Quite the contrary. Ms. Mills said a good board is made up of different strengths, right? Don't let the fact that this board is heavily flavored with ex-educators get in the way of thinking about being a part of it, because in reality, the best boards will be boards that have expertise in many different areas.
If that were the case, Mr. Finkbeiner wouldn't have joined us, right, Mr. Finkbeiner?
Well,
You know, you're absolutely right.
and all kidding aside, Finkbeiner brings a huge upside
Absolutely.
to this board with experiences that he has from his own area of work. My point exactly, you don't have to be an ex-educator to be a good board member.
Right. Next question, and Mr. Fisher, I think you've alluded to this earlier, but I don't think that there's good redundancy. I think this is a good redundancy. Can you tell us about the interview process and next steps? And I know you've sort of done that, but I think folks have tuned in to hear that. It might not be a bad thing to repeat that.
Yeah, and I'll just bullet point again, Mr. Hanna, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
If you are interested in running, let me just repeat again the dates at least. Friday, January 29th, when you have to make up your mind by the end of the business day, which is 5:00 p.m. Amelia, Mrs. Mills hit again on the things that you need to do. Get on that website and get that application in. And there's some other things that go along with the application. There's a letter of financial interest that needs to be turned in, as well as the board would like to see some type of resume or background information. So make sure you get those things in. And you're looking for next steps beyond that, Mr. Hanna?
No, I think you're good. Oh, James, go ahead. No, I thought James was trying to get in.
No, next steps beyond being appointed?
No, I think that's next steps beyond being appointed is take your seat, we do the work, right? And I think the next question that comes up, I think we'd all want to engage in it, but Mr. Finkbeiner, I'd love to hear from you on this, is now you're a board member, you've been through that process, you prepared for the interviews, you did your public presentation, 5 to 7 minutes on each question, right? You put your application in by the 29th, you've been selected, right?
Now the fun begins.
Now the fun begins, right?
Now is where, how's the saying go? The rubber meets the pavement.
The rubber meets the road, man. So could you,
there you go.
talk a little bit about maybe an orientation, time commitment? I'd love to hear, what the work was, but I think people want to know, like, what's the time commitment? Like, what does it really look like? Earlier this week, I shared with the board, by the way, it's also actually School Board Directors Month, the month of January. And as you all know, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's minimum about 10 hours a month that board members put into this work, right? That's what I heard someone say. Mr. Finkbeiner, would you like to take that on?
I would love to, Mr. Hannah. So first question was orientation and training. So as an elected school board member, you end up being a part of a larger organization called PSBA. PSBA is Pennsylvania School Board Association. So you become a part of a large organization of school board members in the state of Pennsylvania. And they offer a plethora of knowledge-based articles on their website. So I use that as a heavy hitter when I first got on. Is my first thing I did is I went online and said, what do you have on here that I can learn about? Because to what was mentioned before, education isn't my strong point, or wasn't my strong point, I should say, before I got on board. So I utilized PSBA's website heavily. They have a ton of knowledge-based articles that allow you to continually educate yourself on board policies, on what is and is not expected of a board member, kind of the roles and responsibilities, but then also allows you to educate yourself on certain hot point areas, education, special education, finance, budgeting, stuff of that nature. It's a whole library or knowledge base of articles. CCIU also offers, at least this past year, we were able to participate in some phenomenal training. I know, Ms. Mills, you and I were two of the board members that attended that. It was a very phenomenal full day training through the CCIU that was on campus. And they did an outstanding job of providing you some really strong context as to what you'll be looking at as a board member, what you should and shouldn't do, and then some of the nuances related around that. And there's always, you have your initial onboarding and there's always continuing education. And then the best part of being a school board member is having other knowledgeable board members on the board that you can rack their brain on. I was fortunate enough when I got on to the school board that we had several seasoned board members that I could reach out to, lean on, to provide some structure, say, hey, no, you're not supposed to do that, or hey, yes, you can do that, ask these questions, that's fine. Strong reference point. I think that's the best resource that you have as a board member. Time commitment. At a minimum, you're looking at 2 executive sessions, 2 school board public meetings, one being a committee meeting, one being the school board meeting. And I'll even throw in a third one there. It's technically not listed, but after every committee meeting, we have a special board meeting. So really you have 3 public board meetings. You have your committee meeting, you have your special board meeting that follows it. And then you have, at the end of the month, you have your official school board meeting. You have 1 to 2 committee prep meetings. The board is divided into committees. Each committee has 3 sitting members. You have finance, policy, education, and operations. You also have committee prep meetings with some of the administration as well as the board members that are on those committees. That's where a lot of the work gets done. You have a lot of really in-depth conversations relating around trajectories, approaches, stuff of that nature in those specific areas of focus. From a time commitment perspective, you get out of this position what you put into it. If you go through the motions, you're going to find yourself in a situation where something might come up on the agenda and you don't know what it is, or you're voting for something that you don't understand the context around it. If you do the research, you ask the questions, you can be in a position where you're dangerous to make a decision because you're educated enough to say, hey, I understand what my decision needs to be, and here's the reason why. You don't have to justify with anybody, but you have to be able to understand yourself why you're voting on something. So from a time commitment perspective, the more time you put in, the better understanding you're going to have, the more acclimated you're going to be to the position, the more comfortable you're going to be. I won't say how much time I put into it. I'm not going to ask my other peers, but I can tell you right now, there's a lot of dedication on this board and there's a lot of time. Ms. Mills, you alluded to being retired, but quite frankly, you're not really retired because this is a full-time job, right? But the last thing is that you have an opportunity to do is you can go on school visits. You're able to go into the buildings, see what the buildings look like, really get a good feel and sense of the community, the culture that you have in each of your district facilities. you get to attend events. The most rewarding event that I was able to partake in this past year was the graduation ceremony. It was a skewed version of the graduation ceremony, but it was arguably the most rewarding thing that I've done in my adult life. Lobbying, having conversations with legislators, really working with other board members within the county, working with administration, working together as one real collective team. That's the scope of the work that you're doing, Mr. Hanna. It is, I will say it's a time-consuming position because you're dealing with the livelihood of employees from a staffing perspective, but most importantly, you're dealing with the educational opportunities that are awarded to or given to the children, the young people in our community. And every decision you make in some shape or form has an impact on the lives of young people. And as rewarding as it is, the magnitude of those decisions can't be diminished in any capacity because it is, again, you take out of it what you put into it. If you're going through the motions, it's going to show. If you're somebody who's willing to commit to your craft and learn as much as you can to try and really be as impactful as you can during your 4-year term. In this case, it'll be a little less than a 1-year term for the open position for Mr. Rohn. You can learn a lot in a year. I like to say I can look back and say I know a lot more about special ed and technology and education just from sitting on this board for the last year. So I hope that gives a good synopsis of the work as it entails. But Mr. Fisher, Ms. Mills, or Mr. Bookman, if you guys have anything to add.
I'll just add a little.
Point.
Go
ahead, Mr. Bookman.
I'm sorry. Just not to forget, which I've learned about emergency meetings also, and special emergency meetings and board retreats. So, you can add that in there too, at times also.
And 2 quick points. First and foremost, Mr. Finkbonner, thanks for mentioning, because again, we live this every day and we just sometimes assume that people know. The work of the school board is divided into 4 committees, as you said. There's the Education Committee, Finance and Personnel Committee, the Operations Committee, and then the Policy Committee. So to support Ms. Mills' statement from earlier yet again, there's areas for all expertise on a school board. And secondly, just so people are aware that there is a required training. That training that the IU presents and some other places present as well is a required training. And there are some things in life that are required that really and truly don't maybe sometimes amount to much. But as you alluded to earlier, that training is extremely critical to help you with the learning curve.
I think it helps us keep in the lane. Because like I said, even though I sat in a bunch of school board meetings over those years, it's a whole lot different sitting in the room and operating under the guidelines. And those guidelines really help us get the work done so we don't get distracted. I wanted to add something though. I've only been on 1 year and it's been a heck of a year since last March. And what I find as hard and as much time as this takes, the reward of working and watching the work that the school directors do with the administrators get put into practice is wonderful. Watching our kids thrive in a virtual world is wonderful. And what's truly amazing to me is watching how our teachers have adapted and adjusted to virtual instruction when this isn't what they signed up for when they went and got their certification in teaching. So this has been one crazy year with COVID in the work, which did give us extra meetings, right, James, because of that. But the rewards of watching how this school district is thriving during this time makes me really proud.
Thank you for that. So our final question is, we've talked about the board, and I heard Mr. Fisher, you talked about the team of 10. And one of the questions that I think people have, and Mr. Finkbeiner talked about, you can say this, you can ask this, you can do that, don't do this, don't do that. I think I heard Ms. Mills talk about in my lane and what it looks like when you sit on one side versus on the other, whether, in the audience versus at the table. Mr. Fisher, can you share a little bit about the importance of the relationship between the board and the administration and how we all work together?
Absolutely, Mr. Hanna. Let me start by saying this. All 9 of our board members would be with us this evening if that was permittable, because I can assure you that the 5 that aren't on here tonight would echo just about everything that's being said here this evening. And that's one of the sunshine laws that you need to follow. Anytime you have a quorum, and a quorum in this case would be 5 or more, then you have to have made public an announcement that the board was going to meet. So that's just one of many sunshine laws that you need to be aware of. But to get to your question, it's very important that people understand, because one of the greatest misnomers is what the responsibilities of a school board member are. And I've said this in public meetings, but I think it needs to be said again. The purpose of the board is to govern the school district, not to operate and run on a daily basis the school district. Our job is to govern. I was very fortunate as the high school principal to have worked under boards that understood that and allowed me to do my job as the principal, and in almost all cases supported me greatly. So I think it's important as a school board member, one, that you understand your role, and that is to govern and not to get down into the weeds and the daily runnings of the school district, but to oversee them. Quite frankly, Mr. Hanna, that's why we hired you. And you're the member of the team that goes to work and does that for us. So that's very important. But also it's important to support your administrators. Again, not to be redundant, but I always felt supported, and it's a good feeling knowing that the people that are governing your school board support you in your daily decisions and your daily operations. So best I can say it is to be supportive, and our job is to when there are issues that we report to our team member, and that team member is the superintendent, and it's the superintendent's job to take it from there. So again, it's important to govern, it's important to support.
And thank you for that, Mr. Fisher. I don't know if Ms. Mills, Mr. Bookman, or Mr. Finkbeiner want to add to that. I would say that when we hear Mr. Fisher say support, that doesn't mean carte blanche, do whatever you want. I'll be very clear. There are very poignant questions to Mr. Finkbeiner's point earlier. Very prepared board members who, frankly, have made in my few months here on the board, and as many of you know, this is my first superintendency. I've leaned greatly on the support of this board, but also on the tough questions that this board has put out in terms of its expectations and so forth. But I just wanted to, to be clear there. I didn't want people to think that it's just okay, do whatever you. In fact, what we find is where that happens with boards, and it's a rubber stamp board. There's not much innovation. There's not much going on, right? And so I just wanted to share that moment. So I appreciate that.
And Mr. Hanna, I appreciate that clarification, but obviously that was not my intent by using
absolutely
by using that term. And I will say that that this board does ask the questions, and as Mr. Finkbeiner said, you get what you put into it.
Absolutely.
If I could add, we love to hear from the community. We haven't mentioned that yet tonight. So we do get emails, we respond to them. Public comment at our meetings is important, because when we sit in our committee meetings, we have, we're kind of closed in our ideas, and a fresh view is often very helpful. So please, as community members, if you're listening and not choosing to run for the board, continue to reach out to us with your comments and concerns. We'd like to hear that.
I'll add real quick on top of that. I think you guys articulated that perfectly. One item that President Fisher, you had alluded to is that, Mr. Hanna is the one doing the work in the classrooms. One thing that I think is important just to express on is that we aren't in the classrooms. There's employees in this district, and we have phenomenal teachers in this district that are incredibly professional, that manage their classrooms. We have principals that manage their buildings. So there's a level of hierarchy as it relates to that. And as a board member, it's your responsibility, if you have questions, to facilitate them through your superintendent, and vice versa. So I just wanted to take a second to just speak to the fact that communication is incredibly critical, especially in a district of this size. And as a board member, that communication between you and your superintendent is reciprocated. So when things happen in the district, that line of communication comes directly from your superintendent. That's how the board finds out. We get our information, we have our discussions, and vice versa. But Ms. Mills, you kind of stole my thunder there. I was going to say every single one of our emails are posted on our website. So you absolutely can reach out to us directly. But I think it's important to also mention that there is a kind of a quote unquote chain of command to follow. So if you do have a concern or a question, you can always reach out to us, and we'd be happy to provide you with who you should speak to and direct your questions towards.
And those are the questions for this evening. I don't know if there's anything that, as a closing statement that each of you might want to make. But I am thrilled at the opportunity to sort of, spend some time with you this evening. And this, as I said, this will be posted for the next 2 weeks so that folks can have an opportunity to chime in. And as Mr. Finkbeiner said, if you have any questions that you don't want to, reach out to voter services on, and you want to reach out to any of our members, please feel free to do so. But closing statements to wrap up.
Mr. Hanna, I'll be glad to go first. I would say in closing that no one's perfect, right? And, unfortunately, maybe there's been some mistakes made along the way. But understand one thing, and I think it has been a theme throughout this evening. The 9 people that serve on this board care about the Coatesville Area School District. And if not, we wouldn't be in this position. And we want nothing but the best for this school district. And we want nothing but the best for our students. And there is a lot of hard work ahead. There's no getting around our financial situation and where we are, but we've got to continue to work, because at the end of the day, that's the most rewarding part of this job, knowing that you are serving the constituents of this school district, but every bit as importantly, if not more, the students that come to our schools every day.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher. Anyone else to close out?
That's a tough one to follow.
Really
Yeah,
is.
it is. I'll do my best. I will do my best. As always, it's tough to follow Mr. Fisher. I will. I'll just say this, that, and I'm glad you said it, Mr. Fisher, in that nobody's perfect within this board or in any level. We're going to make mistakes. The person who fills this position is going to make mistakes. But like we teach our young people, and when we were all once young people as well, we were taught the same thing. It's okay to make a mistake. The key is, how invested are you in learning from those mistakes? We can look back on our past in this district or in our lives and say, we've made mistakes, but the question is, have you learned from them? So for anyone that's interested to run for this position, I would say, if you have apprehensions that you don't have the knowledge, that you don't have what it takes to be a board member, it's a learn as you go. Nobody kind of, I equate it to, I'm going to say this jokingly, I equate it to having a child. You know, everyone would ask me before my children were born, are you ready to have a kid? And I said, yeah, I'm ready as I'll be, because it's a learning experience. You learn as you go, and similar to any position, you're going to learn as you go. You've got a plethora of resources to tap into. So if you're apprehensive on putting your name in for a position, either this position or come next election, just know that it's those people who question and say, I don't think I'll be good enough. Those are the board members. Those are the people who make outstanding board members. It's your dedication, your willingness to learn. Those are the intangibles. If you have those, then this is the right position for you, because you will learn as you go. A lot of what you learn is acquired knowledge. So please don't allow that to be a detractor. I was intimidated. I'm going to be completely honest. I was intimidated before I ran, because I know some of the people that were sitting up on that board, Mr. Fisher, Mr. Keach, Mr. Aceto, and Miss Mills, you as well, just from having conversations. I realized that education was not my strong suit, but I realized very quickly that I'm going to lean on those people to educate me on education. As funny as that sounds. And I did. And there's plenty of knowledge of people around you, and there's people on this board that are willing to help you succeed. Just like on any team, you're as strong as your weakest link. In athletics, you're as strong as your weakest player. So the leaders around those players do what they can to elevate that individual to make the entire team stronger. So please don't allow that to be a deterrent. I was in those shoes. And I'm glad I made the decision that I did.
Thank you, Mr. Finkbeiner. Anyone else to wrap up? Amelia, Ms. Smith?
Yeah, I have something. Well, we touched on this, and we might as well just get it out in the public now, because this is about the seat in Region 1. But there are 5 seats that are going to come up in the primary. There's going to be seats in Region 1, Region 2, and Region 3. So if somebody's watching this, or you know someone who may be interested, but just not ready for this temporary one, they'll have the opportunity to run in the spring, because we have 5.
Thank you for that. Mr. Bookman?
Yes, and well, since my colleagues then pretty much said everything that was, in my book that was needed to be said, I would just like to say in during this time and give thanks to the community and our students, staff, administration, principals. I would like to ask, as a whole, as a community, that we come together stronger. And as a country, as we see, we need to come together closer and stronger like never before. And during a time crisis like this, let's pray for one another, because there has been a lot of losses with families during this time, and struggles and things that people are experiencing. Let's just try to get through as best way we can, because we never know what is ahead. But as long as we steadfast together, we can make things happen. So thank you.
Thank you for that, Mr. Bookman. I want to thank again Mr. Fisher, Ms. Mills, Mr. Finkbeiner, and Mr. Bookman for taking time out on a Friday evening to serve our community, to serve our public. And it is an absolute coincidence. We are not that brilliant here that on Monday we actually observe the life of Martin Luther King Jr. And you want to talk about the epitome of service and what he meant to this country, to this world. I would say to you that filling this seat is about serving students, serving families, serving this community. I hope you heard from my colleagues this evening, and I am proud to call them my colleagues. They take this work very, very seriously. I hope that those of you who are contemplating this, whether it be for Region 1 or for the 5 seats that are open, you think about this as a calling, that you think about this as a call to action, that you think about this as serving. And one of the things I've heard people talk, my colleagues and I talk about rewarding. There's a part of me that truly believes that our community needs great board members, great governors, right? But I also believe that our board members need our students as well. We need each other, and how we feed off of. I think I heard someone talk about seeing the vision actually come into action. Is something that I think really makes us really happy about this work. Very difficult to do, but it's doable. And to the team of 10, you're not all here tonight. Thank you, but to this team of 4 leaders, thank you for taking time. Thank you for sharing your experiences. And to the public, we look forward to your applications. We look forward to meeting those of you who would step up and take on this opportunity. It is absolutely rewarding, and we look forward to meeting you February 4th. So off you go. Remember, the 29th application by 5 p.m. to Lori Diefendorfer. Go on the website. You can get all the forms and so forth. February 4th, prepare. You heard Mrs. Mills talk about the types of questions. And for those of you who get through that, we look forward to having you seated on our board on the 9th. So with that said, have a great weekend. Serve one another, be kind, and go Coatesville. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.